Hi, I am Vanessa and Apuya, and we're gonna talk about the case of Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage versus the local government of Quezon City. So, for a bit review about the case, a government instrumentality exercising corporate powers is not liable for the payment of real property taxes on its properties unless it is alleged and proven that the beneficial use of its properties been extended to a taxable person. Before we start, we have to tackle about the antecedent facts of this case before we go to the final court decision. Sometime in July 2007, MWSS received several final notices of real property tax delinquency from the local government of Quezon City, covering various taxable years at 237,108 and 43.83 pesos on the real properties owned by MWSS in Quezon City. The local government of Quezon City warned it that failure to pay would result in issuance of warrants of levy against of its properties. On August 7, 2007, the Treasurer's Office of Quezon City issued warrants of levy on the properties due to MWSS failure to pay. On September 10, 2007, the local government of Quezon City listed properties owned by MWSS for auction sale. For the second bullet, petition for certiorari and prohibition TRO or temporary restraining order prayer by NWSS because they argued that its real properties in Quezon City were exclusively devoted to public use and thus were exempt from real property tax. For the third bullet, the court appeal issued TRO stopping auction sale and writ of preliminary injunction issued. The court appeal also denied the petition and lifted injunction. The court appeal said that MWSS Metropolitan Water Works sewerage system need an exhaust administrative remedies re a purely legal question. Court appeal did not dismiss on this ground. Court appeal also said that since MWSS was not a municipal corporation, it could not invoke the immunity granted in Section 133 of Local Government Code. They found that even if the MWSS was an instrumentality of the government, it was not performing a purely governmental function, thus no immunity. The court appeal said that taxes properties were not part of the public dominion but were even made the subject of concession agreements between the MWSS and private concessionaires due to its privatization in 1997. Proprietary function thus subject to real property tax. For the last bullet, QC issued warrants of level while MWSS went to Supreme Court and the Supreme Court issued temporary restraining order or TRO. Piece of evidence adduced by parties. The honorable trial courts do not only determine the facts from the evaluation of the evidence presented before them, so to determine issues of law which may include the validity of an ordinance, statute, or even an executive issuance in relation to the Constitution, and to effectively perform this function, they are territorially organized into regions and then into branches. The reach is generally reached within those territorial boundaries. On the second bullet, they fall under the same or similar category as those properties that there were covered. It contends that if these properties were auctioned, the issue in the petition would be irrelevant to the argue. And on the third bullet, they point out that the tax exemption granted in Republic Act No. 6234, Section 18, has since been repealed by Section 234 of the Local Government Code. They assert that petitioner has since recognized its tax liabilities when it paid respondents a down payment of 30 million and when it committed to pay the balance not later than April 2011. And now let's talk about the issue resolved by CA or trial court and explain them one by one. The first issue is whether there is a violation of principle of hierarchy of the courts. The Court of Appeal has full discretion on whether to give due course to any petition for a certiorari directly filed before it. In this case, it allowed petitioners direct resorts to it on the ground that the issue presented was a pure question of law. No error can be ascribed to it for passing upon the issue. The second issue is whether MWSS is an instrumentality of the Republic, otherwise whether it's a GOCC or government-owned and controlled corporation. The MWSS is a government-owned and controlled corporation. Under the local government code, only its machinery and equipment actually directly and exclusively used in the supply and distribution of water can be exempt from the levy of real property taxes. Its power functions and attributes are more to that of the National Power Corporation, which was previously held by the court as a taxable entity. For the third issue under the Executive Order Number 596, petitioner is categorized with other government agencies that were found to be exempt from the payment of real property taxes. Thus, petitioner is not liable to respondents, local government of Quezon City for real property taxes, except if the beneficial use of its properties has been extended to a taxable person. Respondents have not alleged that the beneficial use of any petitioner's property was extended to a taxable person. In the absence of any allegation to the contrary, petitioner's properties in Quezon City are not subject to the levy of real property taxes. And now let's go to the Supreme Court findings and applicable laws cited wherein the petitioner maintains that it is a government instrumentality exempt from real property taxation under Section 133 of the Local Government Code. In particular, it argues that it is a regulatory body mandated to oversee the operations of its two private concessionaires, the Manila Water Company Incorporation and the Manila Water Services Incorporation. It points out that the Republic Act No. 6234, Section 18 as amended by Presidential Decree No. 425 expressly exempt it from the payment of real property taxes. The Honorable Supreme Court decision wherefore the petition is granted. The Court of Appeal on October 19, 2010 decision is reversed and set aside. The temporary restraining order issued by the court on January 26, 2011 and September 7, 2011 are made permanent, while the real properties of the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System located in Quezon City are declared exempt from the real estate tax imposed by the local government of Quezon City. All the real estate tax assessments, including the final notices of the real estate tax delinquencies issued by the local government of Quezon City on the real properties of the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System located in Quezon City are declared void, except for the portions that are alleged and proven to have been leased to private parties. So ordered.